What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel as you tune in and check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to speak on this unrivaled league, right? That's pretty much get ready to start up really soon. And man, I'm not hearing like a lot of buzz around the for unrivaled. I'm hearing more so like negative uh reports come out. What's the young lady? Nafisa Kalia, she hurt, and she won't even be able to play. This is her league. She's one of the faces of the league, and she won't even be able to participate this year because she's out, and it's really not looking all that good. What's the other young lady? Breonna Stewart. Now, Breonna Stewart will be able to play, but when you think about like a lot of big name WNBA players won't be there. And I think that in order for this unrivaled league to have some type of success, you needed these young ladies to participate. And to me, it really don't give them any leverage against the WNBA if they can't even get together and play basketball in this unrivaled league. So you don't have like Caitlin Clark, she never played from the jump, right? Then now this year you don't have Angel Reese is not playing. Who else is not playing? Asia Wilson is not playing, and then you have a couple other, but the big names in the WNBA basically not participating. And this just makes the point that the women don't even support themselves, right? And so they want everybody else to support their league when they're not even supporting their league. Like, make sure we get paid, support us so we can get paid. And they're not even supporting themselves when it comes to this WNBA. Paige is playing, and I think a lot of people want to see Paige play. As you know, she get a lot of support, but I don't think that's going to be enough. I don't think that Paige will be able to do it by herself because, like I said, there's not a lot of buzz around this unrivaled league. And so, if unrivaled don't, if they don't put up certain numbers, then this unrivaled league will they'll cease to exist. They're not going to be around next year. I think they have like a 3-year contract. This year, who they playing? They're playing on what network are they playing? I forgot the network they playing on, but this network, True T. I think it's on True TV. So they won't even be like on a major network. They're going to be on True TV, which, in my opinion, is not any better than when the WNBA had they were playing their games on the Lifetime network. Like people wasn't looking for those games on Lifetime network. And so with this league being on True TV, it's just not looking good. You need more than just Paige out there playing. People want to see more than just Paige. They want to see the league, like, support yourself, before you can ask other people to support you. And you can't get, these young ladies from the W to play. This it's not a good sign. And because they don't see these young ladies not supporting themselves, then they're not really checking for the WNBA. I mean, checking for this the unrivaled league, right? And so if they gotta support themselves. And this is just not a good sign if you can't support yourselves. Now I can see if everybody showed up, right? If Asia Wilson played, if Angel Reese played, Caitlin Clark, Paige, everybody in the league, they got together and they supported and they showed up. And even if they didn't have any success, if the league still failed, then at least you show that, like we are all on the same page. But they not on the same page, you know. And I don't know, man. I just think that, and I always say that, like, a lot of these basketball players, like very few of these basketball players, like really love the game the way they the way they say or present. They just like basketball for maybe what they think it can do for them. But they don't love the sport like that because anytime like a a basketball, sure enough, basketball fanatic, anytime they get a chance to play, they're gonna want to play. But they don't love the game like that. And when people question their love for the game, I think it's only fair. Certain players are gonna play no matter what. Like players who will play for free, you know. It just would be so hard. I couldn't imagine like the NBA guys are play, like certain guys are playing the NBA, they play for free. And no, most of the time, those are the guys who you want to see. You want to see those guys who want to um, play for free. So I don't think I don't have this unrivaled league being around for too much longer. Like I said, they got a 3-year contract. This year they're playing on True TV. So I think if they don't do a good showing, if they don't have a good showing this season for Unrivaled, if they don't get the kind of the fans, they might not even have a third season. This second season right here might be it for them. Once I heard that Nafisa Kaya wasn't playing, I was like, yeah, this is it for the league. I don't think they're going to be able to. I don't think they're going to get a third season. I think they're going to wind up forfeiting that third season, and you know, yeah, it's just not a good look. And what I think is, like I said, it hurts them on different levels because it proves people right. People who say like women don't support the WNBA, and then so now WNBA players don't even support each other when like even out of a sense of obligation for what they're trying to get accomplished in the WNBA. And it's a good look if you show a united front just to support this league. But because if Unrivaled had the support of every WNBA player, and there was a risk that they might go to strike or there might be a lockout, then the owners would have to keep in the back of their mind, well, like, well, they have other alternatives. They're going to play in this Unrivaled league. They're going to make this Unrivaled league even more popular by default because if we lock them out, they can go play for them. But now you see they done, I don't know who is advising these young ladies. Like you're getting so many different comments from people. Like it's just so obvious that they're not on the same sheet of paper. They're not on the same page, right? And so if I'm the WNBA and I'm negotiating against the players union and stuff like that, I feel pretty confident that I can get the deal that I want. I feel pretty confident that the WNBA has more leverage than the WNBA players because they don't stick together. You and also you have a situation where certain WNBA players already came out and said that they are afraid for their job. Not the star players, but the ones who like, who are in the league and they live, they just hit the league. They're living from paycheck to paycheck. They're not really established financially, and nor is they don't feel like they're secure in the league. And now you're gonna have a strike. So of course there's gonna be some fear there for certain players. So yeah, the WNBA has all the leverage, and a lot of the leverage that they have was given to them by the players themselves. They not really they took like the leverage out of that. They don't support themselves. They don't put forth a united front. So the WNBA, even if they was to lock these young ladies out, I think the league is not going to be hurt. It's going to be the players. And what's going to happen with the players? The players going to blame everybody but themselves. The fans didn't support us. NBA players didn't support them, which is not true. I've seen NBA players try to step up and support them, and kind of like get, people had caught an attitude with them. Certain players caught attitudes with NBA players. I've seen fans try to give support to WNBA players and get chastised or get laughed at or mocked because you asking a young lady for her autograph. That autograph could have been for this man's daughter, or it could have been for him. It didn't matter. He was a fan. He asked for an autograph, and what was the young lady name? Kelsey Plum. It was Kelsey Plum. You know, so yeah, man. The WNBA players. I don't have them making out too well. I don't have them making out too well in with this pay situation. They're going to get a deal that they're not satisfied with, and they're going to continue to complain. So they're not, because they didn't put forth the united front that they could have, and they didn't put forth the united front that they should have. Man, they had the opportunity to do that, and then so they can't blame anybody but themselves, though. When you look at how they managed this situation, so that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to leave a comment, and I will check you all out in the next video. Peace.